Welcome to Winter 2025, a psychic forecast and the shocking events that will shape the world. For Winter 2025, I had a vision of a bowling ball knocking down the pins, and this to me is what the energy of 2025 is going to look like. The energies are going to knock down the old, unsustainable structures in our world in favor of new, more fair ones that are going to be built in their place. So it's my aim to help you to prepare for these energies of winter 2025. So in this forecast, we'll talk about the energetics, the predictions, and I've got some channel messages through automatic writing that I'll save to the end. So if we're ready, let's dive on in. Hey, Adam from the Medium channel here. So I've got everything on my notes because there's way too much to remember. That's why the glasses are on. Also, I mean business, so there's a lot to talk about. Firstly, we'll start with the energetics. So Pluto just went into Aquarius, so that's about things like evolution, revolution, sudden change. The coming of the Aquarian Age. Peace shall guide the planet, more brotherhood, sisterhood on the planet, more coming together, nations coming together. So we're really entering that now, and that's going to shake things up a lot. So basically, besides Pluto and Aquarius, the winter is going to be the reckoning, according to Spirit, assessing our lives, our world, and choosing which side we're going to be on. And no, I'm not talking about right versus left. I'm talking about the side of being human or having our spiritual growth through the human experience versus being tempted into artificial experiences of spirituality and other things through AI and other technology. So basically, 2025 is a 9-year numerology. So we're kicking off the 9-year. That's about completion, but it's also very energetic. It's Mars ruled, so things like conflict, struggle, strife like that come to the forefront, but it's completing the old. And you add to that it's going to be the year of the snake. So we're coming out of the year of the dragon. What do snakes do? They shed their skin, they shed old skin, and they transmute poison into medicine. So it's a very alchemical change and transformation that's happening with humanity. This is like 2025, like the tipping point into new earth and into the golden age. So what else? So it shows an alchemical process of shedding the old and turning past pain into positive growth and transmutation. That's sort of the general energy of the year of the snake and how that plays out in our lives and our spiritual growth as well as the society in general. So let's start a little bit with the economy. Because first I was seeing an image of a bank, then I was seeing an image of banks going under and lots of changes in world economy being proposed. I was seeing a possible slow down or a full-on crash around February, but that'll be followed by a reform and a rebuild. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but keep an eye on that. So crash around followed by a rebuild. Different groups meeting around the globe, the group of 7, the BRICS plus nations, World Economic Forum. There's a few of them. And to try to get a handle and to boost the economy. So we may see some stimulus packages being proposed and things of that nature. I'm seeing movement towards more of a quantum financial system around the world. So that's part of what the meetings are about. Right now, we're in a fiat system here in the United States. In other words, unbacked currency. The quantum system would be gold or precious metal backed. So we see movements of that, and amending the exchange rates. It's terribly unfair to a lot of countries around the world, trying to find more balance with that. And I was also seeing the proposed tariffs really reflecting a change in international trade and stuff like that, yes, and some spike of inflation initially, but understand this might be a bluff or it may be ratified or altered, so it's not quite so severe, basically. And in general, it should have minimal impact on inflation, generally speaking. So inflation slows, possible brief recession, but I don't think we're going to go into a big recession, and that will carry past the winter anyway, and followed by general stabilization beginning February and March. So pressures to centralize currency, eliminate cash, invent new forms of currency come up. So basically, what we're doing more as conscious beings. We're wanting to unify and blend the different currency that's different than centralizing. When you centralize power, a small governing force controls everything. So this would be more about coming together, as a multinational society to make things more fair with the economy in general. So savvy investors are going to be able to make out big, understanding, the trends in society, what's going to be big in the future, stuff like that. Knowledge of crypto and other forms of currency, that's going to be help. And of course, investing in precious metals like silver is often, especially with the changes and the likelihood that they're going to go up in price, is a safe longer term investment. I'm also seeing a bigger earthquake in California, maybe around LA or the West Coast. Watch out around LA, especially January and early February, but I'll get to that in a second. Let me go back to my notes, because the next topic is about the corruption being exposed. And more whistleblowers out there, so we're going to see more of that. Again, the old facades are falling now. The media getting exposed and called out, stuff like that. Big pharmaceutical companies, Fauci email cover-ups, Gates questions, they may come under fire. And the whole agenda of profit over the health and well-being of the masses comes up more and more around the pharmaceutical companies, and how potential natural remedies or less expensive therapies and preventative care is being blocked from being known. So again, the media, the big pharmaceutical companies, techs, the governments, they're all connected. The asset management companies, it's this whole unfair structure that keeps the people down and keeps us both vibrationally, spiritually, as well as monetarily impoverished, so that the select few will make out like bandits, basically. So other than that, exposures are more of the human trafficking. I think there might be a confession with P. Diddy or calling out others. So I think we're going to start to see more of what's involved with these world rings that are, kidnapping children and other things. Tearing down the facades of society crumbles. People learning just how watched they are and how spied they are. That's going to come out more and more. You have spying on social media exposed, stuff like that. Dark AI agendas being scrutinized. Evidence of voter tampering in modern elections. I'm not just talking about 2024, but modern elections. New laws restricting freedom getting proposed, especially on social media and platforms. Watch that. But at the same time, I'm also seeing social media changing and removing some of the restrictions. So there's a lot of tug of wars and push and pulls that are going on. We also see help from unexpected places, like from one or two countries we may consider the enemy, and then they wind up being helpful or almost allies in a way. So moving right along, this will get me right into politics. So, yes, I do think Trump will be inaugurated. I've been saying that all along. I still believe that. Not written in stone. Timelines can change. And these predictions can change if the timelines get altered. That's why predictions to me are more points of references. If we like what we hear, keep doing what we're doing. If we don't like what we hear, change what we're doing and change those timelines. But of course, some things the wheels have been set in motion with some things. So I would say at least 85% that Trump will get inaugurated. If he doesn't, I do feel like there's some illness that's coming up. I mean, I don't think you need to be psychic to see that. His health may come up as a factor, but I think that's going to be more of a factor after he's inaugurated, to be honest. Voter fraud investigated by the Democrats, but likely not followed through on. I think it's being investigated, Pennsylvania in particular. So I think something very specific is going to come out of Pennsylvania, initiating at least a call to recount the votes. But again, I don't think it's going to go in that direction for a few reasons. There may not be enough evidence. Plus, it makes the United States look like they really don't have their you-know-what together as far as the world goes, if we can't even manage our own political system and our own voting system. So I think that's all going to be let go of, to be quite honest. And, on that note, do I believe that there was some manipulation I do. That doesn't mean that I don't think Trump would have won. If not, my belief is I could be wrong. So it's just an opinion. You can, if you disagree, you can kindly state that in the comments. But I do believe that he, maybe with Elon Musk and others, made sure somehow through technology or whatnot that he would win, believing that, and I don't say that he's right, but believing that the election was stolen in 2020, making sure that didn't happen. That's my theory. It just felt like something was amiss. I'll put it that way. Like I said, doesn't mean he wouldn't win. Doesn't mean that I'm right. But this is, again, this is psychic forecast. This is psychic information, not political bias, but psychic information that I'm giving to you right now. So what else do we have in that? You know, the possible roots of what happened in 2020 may come out. Possible January 6th style demonstration around the 20th. So I do see some demonstration. Some of it could turn violent as we get closer to the inauguration. And again, if I'm wrong about Trump getting sworn in, it's most likely due to health more than anything. There could be an assassination attempt around the 20th. A lot of these things happen, but they never come out in the news, so, you know, we may not even hear about that. Two or three cabinet members likely get changed. Action will be swift on Trump's part as far as making changes in the laws, you know, fulfilling his agenda. It's likely to happen very quickly and swiftly, because I do believe that he believes he has limited time, and that he believes, I'm not saying that I believe, that he's here to expose the corruption and wants to do that, that's his mission. Now, again, it may or may not be true, but that's that. And this could result in some military action to quell civil unrest and for other reasons. So there may be some call in the Trump inauguration of the military to help to create some changes. So military also could be deployed to challenge the corruption, the status quo, and it's part of Trump fulfilling his vision, basically. Standoffs near Capitol Hill, possible riots I talked about. Also, look for lots of attempts to block Trump, and there may be something acquitted with his felony convictions or appeals that come up. So next week, going into what's going on in the world as far as conflicts and struggles. I've seen FEMA, or the National Guard, getting called in a couple of times, maybe one for more of natural disasters, but one could be more of like social unrest, civil unrest, revolutionary action, or just to control the people. But anyway, back to the war. I could see both ceasefire and peace movements, but I also see possibly the worst battles, you know, so far coming up, like maybe even January, like earlier in the period, and that could catalyze more peace movements. So keep an eye on that. It might get ugly, but that, again, it might help to expose some of the agendas, because, you know, war is big money also. Most people want peace, but there's certain factions that you know, because of economic and other reasons, want to perpetuate the war and continue to see it to escalate. So anyway, both ceasefire and peace movements and peace demonstrations. Corruption behind war gets revealed to greater extent. A new Eastern European country drawn into the conflict I was seeing. Netanyahu may come under some legal fire, so I've heard wind of that already, so that might be more nowcasting than forecasting. Zelensky could step down or force down, or other leaders. I mean, that could be Putin also, but other leaders. So we can see it's change of structure of world leadership in different countries in response to you know, what's going on with the wars and the struggle and stuff like that. Restructuring of NATO in general, some changes on the map. 2 or 3 world leaders stepped down. I just said that. Deep state or the cabal scattered as they get more exposed. So a lot of exposure comes on, and confirmed or continued issues around Korea and Asia coming up. So where are we? Page 5, page 6. Wow. I see like preparation for deployment of troops for peacekeeping missions. So we may see some activity in the military. We see new world leaders emerging, maybe a new spiritual leader or Messiah type figure emerging during this period. We go into some anyways, it's going to continue. But again, as I've always said, I'll say it now, I'll say it again. No World War III. I think we're being helped from above as well as being helped internally to avoid that. And again, exposing the reasons behind some of the wars. It may not just be geopolitical. There may be financial considerations going back to the corporations that extend from the deep state cabal or the ruling class or whatever you want to call that. So anyway, where are we? Natural phenomena. So stronger LA West Coast earthquake possible in January. So keep an eye on that, please. Record numbers of fires globally. Not as much in the U.S., although we could see that also. We've already seen that, but in other countries too. Continued record number of weather-related natural phenomena, disasters, record warmth, all that stuff continuing. Sun gets very active again, so we could see more solar flares popping up later in December and January, which could create natural, which could create a satellite disruption and stuff like that. Can be brief supply cutoffs, but prepare for longer. It's good to be prepared because there's a lot of uncertainty, and something that I should have mentioned earlier is I also see supply chains being cut off, shortages of supplies, maybe some food shortages or stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be like a major thing, like months without food or stuff like that, but it's good to prepare anyways. There's a general trend for people to be more off-grid and be more sustainable anyway. You may want to think about that because it's very unstable, and food is also very heavily controlled by world government and the leaders that control the government and stuff like that, farming and all that stuff. All this comes under the heading of corruption being exposed. So what else? A major flooding event globally. Watch Bangladesh, India, in that area, but anywhere is possible. Increase of interior U.S. earthquakes, like around Yellowstone, around the Midwest, the Central Plains, record snowstorms, etc. New civilizations revealed under glaciers and things of that nature. How exciting. And we may see big increase of I believe we will see big increases of UFO activity, sightings, communication, stuff like that. I'm not getting disclosures, yes, and some people might say, yeah, there's been 21 points of disclosure or whatever. To me, that was just fluff. To me, true exposure of aliens, UFOs, interdimensional extraterrestrials would be revealing of true sightings, like the secret space programs, like what's going on in the moon and other planets. That to me is true exposure. So I think more people are going to see them, come in contact with them, and it's going to be more on the news. Big shifts, advancement of AI use, related technologies start to come under, start to come up. Plastics exceed climate change as biggest threat, so I think we're going to see that as well. And new forms of energy introduced or used, setbacks in electric vehicle productions, efficiency may delay the progress of Project 2030, which is a big, green geological project of how the world's to be changed to more sustainable and cleaner energy and resources. But I think there's going to be setbacks in that. Also they're showing like possible new concerns around new viruses, stuff like that. In general, the leaders of the cabal deep state tend to scatter to avoid detection, basically. We find record findings of inner and outer space exploration, valuable medicines discovered in the oceans, amongst other places, largest gold mines and diamonds mines discovered. Aquarius energy leads to medical and scientific breakthroughs, and that can include things like medbed or medbed technology, like frequency medicine, or stuff like that. I'm seeing a record number of people having spiritual awakenings during the winter of 2025. People are awakening. I see a lot of light infusions, a lot of heightened frequencies, the strongest frequencies we've seen, and it keeps getting stronger. A lot of hope amidst otherwise scary times. Ascended beings, ascended masters, the ETs are helping to guide our collective awakening and our transition into the golden age. So, last, I just have a couple pages of automatic writing, some channeled information for you. And if you're still here, congratulations if you made it this far. And if you like what we're doing, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more of our videos come up on your homepage. And we're here to help you prepare, to help you with the awakening. And we have an inner core group called Spirit Mind Family where we do exclusive presentations and frequency channeling. We'll leave some information on that for you on the pinned comment and description. So anyway, this is automatic writing, so I may struggle to read this, but let me see. A big force is coming onto your world to level the negative structures of your world. This is new and heightened frequencies. Your old corrupt systems have to fall as the energies that supported them is being replaced by higher frequencies. So the old structures in your world have lost their energetic foundation to support. Therefore, they must crumble. This time is your passage into new earth. The earth people will be safe, but this is a period that requires energetic hunkering down, sheltering. Don't go out into the storm. Stay safe in the sanctuary of your own heart, the place of safety and love. The storm will pass. The time for action will come. But our best advice for now is to retreat and focus on your spiritual work and raising your vibrations. You cannot change what is coming, but you can choose how you respond. You can choose to make it a positive, even if it's scary. Change for human is scary, especially when it's perceived as threatening and you don't know what will happen. It is simply a shift of epochs, a natural change and evolution of your species. So hang in there. Work on raising your vibrations, clearing the old stories, the traumas and dramas. You're becoming multidimensional. You can take the old dense trauma and pain frequencies of your past, personally and collectively, into this new age of refinement of energy. To transcend and evolve past the old primitive ways. You must release all personal and collective traumas from your field. We are here to assist. Focus on spiritual practice. Focus on presence, opening your heart, doing heart-brain coherence, personal expansion. For now, your new dawn is rapidly approaching, and that's what I have for you. So thank you. I have over here what I believe is going to be the top news story, the 5 top news stories of 2025. So you can check this video out here, the second part of this video. I love you. Stay safe, stay in your heart. It's miraculous what's happening, but it's going to be challenging in the process. I love you.